Just let me know if I am audible. Just write in the chat box. You can hear. Okay, fine. Cool. So I'll be in full screen mode like yesterday, so I'll not be able to see your chat box. Okay. So I'll explain, and I'll explain multiple times. I'll go slow, but this is a very important derivation, so please focus. I hope you would have gone and checked whatever was taught yesterday. Okay. So what we have been talking is to find an expression for the total number of free electrons within a semiconductor. Obviously, free electrons are there in the connection band. So with that, you have considered this particular way of estimation. That is, if you know the density of states, that means how many energy states are available for the free electrons to occupy, and the probability for an electron to be there in any of the energy states, right? And obviously, you first take it within a small energy interval. So yesterday we saw this expression for density of states. Then we brought in this condition. What if we consider the kinetic energy of the free electrons for the reason that the free electrons are in movement. They keep on moving, so you should consider the kinetic energy. So you have rewritten the Z of ED, that is your density of states. And then you considered the probability of electrons, that is your f of E, Fermi function, Fermi factor, Fermi distribution, all different names. So you have this general expression, but you applied a condition that in a conduction band, all energy levels are above the Fermi energy levels. So for that reason, E minus EF is much greater than KT, and you end up getting an approximation for f of E. That is, f of E is approximately exponential minus of E minus EF by KT. So you have got two expressions, Z of E dE, and another one is f of E. So your next job obviously is to put Z of E dE and f of E into your first equation of dN. Basically take a product of equation number 3 and equation number 6. But before doing that, I have put now a diagram to have a better understanding of what we are doing. So this is a valence band, this is the conduction band. So all these lines which you are seeing is the different energy level, right? Now, what have we done? This is the bottommost level of conduction band, that is EC. This is the EC which we have been talking about. Now, this is Fermi energy level, which is at the middle of the band gap energy. Now, here is the point. We have taken this small elemental area D. It is not very small. That is the reason we are not saying delta. We are saying it as DE, a differential forms, a DE, a small form, small energy interval DE. Within this energy interval, you are finding, first you get an expression for density of states. Then you have your f of E, probability. You are going to multiply and find the number of electrons. If this is for a small energy interval DE, how can I get the total number of electrons which are there in the conduction band? For that, what I need to do is I need to integrate throughout this conduction band. So that means dN, what you have written as Z of E dE into f of E, whatever is that product. If I integrate it throughout this conduction band, I will get the total number of electrons. I will get the total number of electrons, free electrons. Let me stress it, free electrons which are there in the conduction band. Now, if I have to integrate something, so obviously there should be a lower limit and upper limit. Where does the lower limit come? Lower limit is this. That is your lowest level of conduction band. That is EC. I know the lowermost level of conduction band, but what about the uppermost level? I don't know. It can be any value, it can be anywhere, right? So for that reason, you should consider it as plus infinity. It can go to infinity, plus infinity. So EC is the lower limit and infinity is the upper limit of this conduction band. Now what you have done is you are first finding the number of electrons within a small energy interval dE, And then you're going to integrate from EC to infinity. EC to infinity. Okay. So basically, your total number of electrons will be integral of dn. The expression dn, whatever you have, if you integrate it from EC to infinity, you will get the total number of electrons. So that's a task which we are going to do. Now, before going ahead, let me just tell you, what if we were doing for holes? Right now, we are not doing for holes. What if we were doing for holes? Now, for holes, this is the starting level, EV, the uppermost level of valence band. Once again, that will be the upper limit, but I don't know up to what the valence band bottom can be. So, for that reason, the lower limit will be minus infinity. Okay. Now, our focus is only on the conduction band. So now from this figure, it is very clear all energy levels are above Fermi energy level, right? EC is this fixed lower energy level. EC is a fixed energy level, conduction band bottommost level. And what you are going to do is integrate the number of electrons. First, you do it within a small energy interval, that is dn, integrated throughout the conduction band from the lower limit, lower energy level EC to upper energy level plus infinity. Now, moving on, so that's what I mentioned here. You have to now integrate your equation 1, that is dn is equal to z of e dE and f of e, right? You're going to integrate. Lower limit is EC and upper limit is infinity. So this is your next expression. N is an integral of dn. So that's for now I can write it as n is equal to integral lower limit EC to upper limit infinity z of e dE into fe. I just moved the dE to the end. Z of e into f of e into dE. Next step, substitute for z of e and f of e. So what do we get? If I substitute, I know that 4 pi by h cube, pi is a constant, h is a constant, mass of electron is also a constant. So 4 pi by h cube 2m e star raised to 3 by 2 is a constant. I will keep it outside the integral. Now within the integral, what all comes? The leftover terms. What are the leftover terms? Integral EC to infinity, e minus EC to the power of half, that is what is coming from your z of e. All these things were in z of e, right? E minus EC to the power of half. And then f of e is this approximation which we have taken, that is exponential minus of e minus ef by kt. Exponential minus of e minus ef by kt, and then dE. Obviously, whenever you are integrating, there has to be this small element, then only you will get the entire, will be able to solve the integration. This doesn't look that easy to solve. It doesn't look that easy to solve as of now, right? Looks a bit complicated. So for that reason, what we are going to do is this. Within this integral, what you are going to do is multiply here within this by this particular term. Exponential EC by KT into exponential minus EC by KT. Or in other words, multiply and divide by exponential EC by KT. You have this entire expression now. First you had Z of E, F of E, dE. You have substituted for Z of E, dE from whatever you had earlier. You substituted for F of E. You moved all the constants outside and kept the rest within the integral, right? Whatever is the term in terms of energy, you kept within the integral. Now next, in order to solve this integral, you are going to do something. Multiply and divide by exponential EC by KT. Or multiply, this entire thing is basically, I can say it as e to the power of EC by KT into e to the power of minus EC by KT. Why am I doing this? What do I get if I actually multiply this in a usual way? E to the power of x into e to the power of minus x, or e to the power of x divided by e to the power of x. It's just 1, right? So it basically doesn't change much here. But for us to solve the integral, we are doing this. Multiplying with e to the power of EC by KT into e to the power of minus EC by KT. Once you do that, so all these things will come within the integral. So once you do that, it looks like this. 4 pi by h cube 2m e star raised to 3 by 2 remains as it is. Integral EC to infinity as it is. E minus EC to the power of half. Exponential minus of e minus ef by kt again there. What has come into picture? This thing which you have done now. E to the power of EC by KT into e to the power of minus EC by KT and obviously dE. Okay. Why am I doing this? Because I want to solve this integral and get a proper expression for n, that is the total number of electrons or number density of electrons. In the next step, see what I'm doing. 4 pi by h cube 2m h r raised to 3 by 2 remains as it is. Okay. Now, this one is like exponential minus e by kt, exponential plus ef by kt. E to the power of minus e by kt, if I split this thing, it will be e to the power of minus e by kt, e to the power of plus ef by kt, right? Minus of minus ef will be plus ef by kt. I get two terms. So I have moved this e to the power of ef by kt outside, and I am taking this e to the power of minus ec by kt also outside. So, and if I move it out, exponentials, if I move out, I can combine like this, ef minus ec by kt, e to the power of ef minus ec by kt. What am I left with? The integral ec to infinity. E minus ec to the power of half, obviously it remains there. dE also remains there. Whatever are the balance, what is the balance? E to the power of minus e by kt, that is one term. And then there is a plus ec by kt, I will make it as minus of minus ec. So basically all you are doing is a rearrangement. After this step where you are multiplying with this particular factor, e to the power of ec by kt into e to the power of minus ec by kt, what you have done from this one, from equation number 9 to equation number 10 is just a rearrangement. Okay, it's a rearrangement. The term with exponential ef by kt, which was inside the integral, I am taking it out. And this term with minus ec by kt, that also I am taking it out. If I combine those two, I can write it as e to the power of ef minus ec by kt. So all these are basic maths in rearrangement, so it should not be that difficult. The only important point is you should remember this this multiplication. Now next, leftover integral ec to infinity, e minus ec to the power of half, e to the power of minus of e minus ec by kt. Where does it come? There is a minus e by kt in this term, and there is a plus ec by kt here. I make it as minus of minus ec. Okay, plus x is like minus of minus x, the same way. And again I combine and write it. What was the benefit of doing this? Now I have got an integral in terms of e minus ec. You can see e minus ec to the power of half, exponential minus of e minus ec by kt, right? So I have got an integral in terms of e minus ec. Now next step, let me try to solve this particular integral. Okay. Now what do we do next? I am going to consider e minus ec as a factor x. I am going to bring it into some form so that I can solve this integral. Okay. E minus ec I am going to consider as x, and there is a 1 by kt here in the exponential. That 1 by kt I am going to take as a. Very important. E minus ec, once you have got the integral in terms of e minus ec, consider e minus ec as x and 1 by kt as a. It's not kt, it is 1 by kt which you are considering as a. So e minus ec is x and 1 by kt is equal to a. Now obviously if I change here, what happens? This becomes instead of e minus ec it is x, so it is x to the power of half. Here also exponential of minus e minus ec is again x, but 1 by kt is a, so it is ax, right? And dA also will change. Basically, I have now written in terms of x. If I am from energy, if I am going to write in the terms of the variable x, I should change the limit, lower limit and upper limit also accordingly. So what happens next? Your lower limit of energy is EC. Right? So what happens? Okay, one more thing. At E is equal to EC, that is at your lower limit, what happens to x? What is the value of x? EC minus, instead of E you put EC, so it is EC minus EC, that is 0. And at upper limit, infinity, E is equal to infinity. X will become infinity minus EC. No difference, obviously. So it is infinity. Now another thing, take a derivative here. You need to find a replacement for dE, right? So dx will be d of E minus EC or dE minus dEC. The same thing we said yesterday. EC is constant. So derivative of EC will be 0. So instead of dE, you will get dx. Let me just repeat what we said until now. In order to get the total number of electrons or the density of electrons, free electrons in the conduction band, what you have done is you are integrating the density of states and the probability, that product, whatever is there. First you did it for a small energy interval d. Now you are integrating it within the entire conduction band. Conduction band lower limit energy limit is EC and upper limit is infinity because you don't know up to what level it goes. In the next step, substitute for Z of E, D, and F of E, which you got yesterday. Take out the constants. So 4 pi by h cube, 2m h r ratio 3 by 2 lies outside. Again, your limits remain there, EC to infinity. Your leftover terms are there inside. E minus EC to the power of half, and then exponential minus of E minus EF by KT into dE. It's not easy to solve in this particular form in equation number 8, right? So for that reason, what you are doing is you multiply within the integral by this term, e to the power of EC by KT into e to the power of minus EC by KT. Give me a second. So once you multiply this, what happens? Within the integral, you are going to bring it in, right? So 4 pi by h cube 2m h r ratio 3 by 2. Integral EC to infinity. E minus EC to the power of half. Exponential minus of E minus EF by KT. All these terms remains as it is. You bring in this product of exponential EC by KT into E minus exponential minus EC by KT and then D. The next step, you do a small rearrangement. Take out a few exponential terms, that is your constant 4 pi by h cube 2m h r ratio 3 by 2 as it is. Then e to the power of minus or minus EF by KT is there, so that becomes plus EF by KT, that stays outside. Then there is a minus EC by KT here, I'm taking it out. I combine these two, whichever are outside, it becomes EF minus EC by KT. Then again the integral remains as it is, then E minus EC to the power of half. And the exponential term minus E by KT, there is a leftover minus E by KT. And then there is a plus EC by KT, that you make it as minus or minus EC by KT. Okay, now in the next step, in order to solve this one, you're going to consider E minus EC as X and 1 by KT as A, basically bringing this integral in terms of X. So your limits also will change. Everything is going to be in terms of X. So X is equal to E minus EC and A is equal to 1 by KT. If I take a derivative of dx, it will be d of E minus EC. So dE minus dEC. EC is a fixed energy level, it's a constant. So derivative of EC will be 0. So or dx is equal to dE, or another way, dE is equal to dx. Next, the lower limits and the upper limits you have to change because now your integral is in terms of x. So at your lower limit EC, x becomes EC minus EC, that is 0. At upper limit infinity, x becomes infinity minus EC, that is infinity. So now how do I rewrite the integral? I will get the integral as integral 0, that is the lower limit, to infinity. And then instead of E minus EC to the power of half, it is x to the power of half. And then e to the power of minus ax dx. I got an integral like this. Not the entire equation, sorry. That only the integral part in the previous equation becomes like this. Integral 0 to infinity, x to the power of half, e to the power of minus ax into dx. Now this is a standard integral or a definite integral. That means it already has a value root pi by 2a root a. It's into here. This is not x. This is into root pi by 2a root a. This is already having a value. Somebody, some mathematician has done a favor for all of us. He has already solved this integral and told that this is the value. So you have got a standard integral or a definite integral. So root pi by 2a root a. This is very important. You need to remember. So what happens? I am going to, what is a now? A I have 1 by kt, right? So all I need to do is, in your previous equation here, instead of this entire integral, now I will write root pi by 2a root a. But what is a? A is 1 by kt. So now your entire expression becomes like this. 4 pi by h cube to m star raised to 3 by 2 into exponential ef minus ec by kt. These were the terms which are outside the integral. They remain as it is. And then instead of that integral, whatever you had, this is your value. Root pi by 2a root a. Replace a with 1 by kt. So root pi by 2 into 1 by kt into 1 by kt to the power of half. Root pi by 2 into 1 by kt into 1 by kt to the power of half. Root pi, just remember root pi by 2a root a and a is 1 by kt. All you are doing next is again rearrangement. So I have 1 by kt into 1 by kt to the power of half. That means 1 by kt to the power of 3 by 2. This is in the denominator. So obviously if it goes into the numerator, what happens? It becomes kt to the power of 3 by 2. 1 by, it's 1 by 1 over kt to the power of 3 by 2. So obviously it goes to numerator. So this is how the expression now becomes 4 pi by h cube 2m star raised to 3 by 2 e to the power of ef minus ec by kt into root pi as it is, 2 as it is, and kt to the power of 3 by 2. Next, let's do a bit of circus. So 2 and 4, obviously you can divide and it becomes 2 here, right? So what happens? There is a 2 here, then there is a pi and root pi. Pi into root pi will be pi to the power of 3 by 2. 2m star raised to 3 by 2, already you have. Kt to the power of 3 by 2, already you have. So you have got some terms which are in the power of 3 by 2. So 2, I can put 2 pi m star and kt whole to the power of 3 by 2. I will combine all these things, right? So 2 m star raised to 3 by 2, pi to the power of 3 by 2, kt to the power of 3 by 2. Just put them all together. One more thing, I'm going to move, there is a h cube outside. I'm going to move it within this 3 by 2 bracket. If I want h cube in terms of 3 by 2, what happens? It will become h square. Let's see, this is how your final expression looks like. 2 into 2 pi m star kt by h square to the power of 3 by 2. Can you just compare with the previous? This 2, how did it come? Because you have cancelled this 2 with 4, right? And then 2 pi, that is this 2 to the power of 3 by 2. Pi into root pi is pi to the power of 3 by 2. M star raised to 3 by 2. M star is there. Kt is also there. The 2 pi m star kt divided by h square. So we had h cube outside. I moved the h inside. So it became h square. Right? How? Can you just see this? H square to the power of 3 by 2. 2 by 2, 2 and 2 cancel. So it's h cube. Right? So I brought h inside. So this is your final expression. Okay, it was exponential EF minus EC by KT. I can write in another way, minus of EC minus EF by KT. Two different ways of writing. Just move the negative here and there. Now, I can rewrite this in another way. That is, this entire thing is a constant. Can you see? 2 is a constant, this 2 constant, pi is a constant, mass is a constant, Boltzmann constant obviously constant, temperature, whatever is the temperature, that is constant. And then Planck's constant is also constant. So this entire 2 into 2 pi m star kt by h square raised to 3 by 2 is a constant. I will write it as NC, capital N with suffix C. This is known as effective density of states. Effective density of states for electrons. Why am I saying electrons? Obviously, we have been talking about electrons, free electrons, which are there in the conduction band. And then your leftover exponential term. So this is how the expression now becomes. So let me just repeat it quickly. So until the previous class, what you had done was you knew you were told that this is the expression for density of states. You rewrote in terms of kinetic energy, that is E minus EC. Then you had the probability function, and you took an approximation that we are talking only about conduction band. So all energy levels are above the Fermi energy levels. So you got an approximation for f of E. Now that Z of E and f of E, if I multiply, I will get only for a small energy interval. I'll get only for a small energy interval d. If I need it for the entire conduction band, I need to integrate throughout the conduction band. For that purpose, for integration, I need the lower limit. Lower limit is EC, lowest level of conduction band. Upper limit is infinity. So if you do that, it becomes integral EC to infinity Z of E, f of E, d. Do the substitutions, keep the constant outside. Now next, you need to remember this variable, multiply within the integral, you need to do this multiplication, e to the power of EC by kt into e to the power of minus EC by kt. Another way, I can say, multiply and divide by exponential EC by kt. So then your integral, you will get this product here inside. After that comes a small rearrangement. What you are doing? To take out e to the power of minus EF by kt is there. Take it out, it becomes plus EF by kt. Then there is a minus EC by kt, take it out and combine them both together and put it together. Within the integral, what are the leftovers? E minus EC to the power of half and minus E by kt, and there is a plus EC, I make it as minus of minus EC. So I got the integral in terms of E minus EC. I'm trying to solve this next by considering E minus EC as x and 1 by kt as a. I'm going to bring the integral in terms of x, so the limit also changes. d becomes dx. So limits change, everything, you find the limits and everything. Then your integral shortens like this. Integral 0 to infinity x to the power of half e power minus ax into dx. This is a standard integral or definite integral which is already having a solution, root pi by 2a root a. Root pi by 2a root a. You need to remember this value. Next, substitute this one into your previous expression for n, that is within the integral. Instead of the entire integral, you will write root pi by 2a root a, but a is 1 by kt. So it becomes 1 by kt and 1 by kt to the power of half. Next, 1 by kt into 1 by kt to the power of half is 1 by kt to the power of 3 by 2. This is within the denominator, it goes to the numerator and becomes kt to the power of 3 by 2. And then you combine all the 3 by 2's. So there is a pi and root pi to the power of 3 by 2. 2m star raised to 3 by 2 already existing. Then there is a kt to the power of 3 by 2. Move the h cube which is there outside, bring it within, you bring it in terms of 3 by 2. 2 and 4 cancels and becomes 2. Left over is this 2 into 2 pi me star kt by h square to the power of 3 by 2. Exponential, we had written EF minus EC by kt. I'm just rewriting it. I can put it in another way, minus of EC minus EF by kt. Both way you can write it. And the only thing what we do next is, since this entire portion is a constant for a fixed temperature, whatever is the T, whatever is the temperature value, this entire thing is a constant. I will write it as another term, NC. This is the effective density of states. This entire term is now effective density of states. So it becomes NC into e to the power of minus EC minus EF by kt. So this is your expression, this equation number 14 which I have put in red is the final expression for the density of electrons or electron concentration, or the total number of free electrons or the amount of free electrons which are there in conduction band of an intrinsic semiconductor. If I do a similar process for the holes which are there in the valence band, I will get this expression. Now what has happened here? I have similar, it is 2, instead of n, I am writing it as p. Okay, there is a simple reason to take as n and p. N because electrons are negative charge, so n stands for negative. P because holes are positive charge, so p stands for positive. So instead of n, it becomes p. 2 is there as it is, 2 pi is there. Here it was me star because it was effective mass of electron. Now it is effective mass of holes. Effective mass of holes. And the rest remains as it is, kT by h square to the power of 3 by 2. Here there is a small difference. Here it was minus of EC minus EF. Minus of EC minus EF because we were talking about the conduction band, right? Now here for holes it is in the valence band. So it is minus of EF minus EV. What was EV? That was the top level of the valence band. You've seen that figure, right? So minus, the entire expression looks like this. My exponential minus of EF minus EV by KT. You don't have to learn the derivation of this. It's not part of the syllabus. You only need to learn the derivation of this one up to equation number 14 or 15, I will say, whatever you have learned. But so if in case if the derivation is there in the notes which I have shared, for holes, don't learn the derivation. You only need to know the expression. You should only know this expression. Okay. Now I have electron concentration N and hole concentration P. Now if, okay, I can even rewrite this in a similar way. Like here I wrote NC for this particular constant. Here I can write it as NV. Just 2 into 2 pi ms star kT by h square raised to 3 by 2. I can write as NV. So that NV will be called as effective density of change for holes. Now, next step, what I am going to do is, I am considering obviously an intrinsic semiconductor, right? So if I have an intrinsic semiconductors, the charge carriers, that means the amount of electrons and the amount of holes will be same. So N is equal to P. So whatever N and P I got in the previous slide here, whatever N and P I have got now, in an intrinsic semiconductor it will be same. The amount will be same. Amount of electrons and holes will be same. So N is equal to P. I'm going to write it as Ni. If N is equal to P, I will denote it by a common symbol Ni. This Ni is known as intrinsic carrier concentration, only because we are talking about now an intrinsic semiconductor. If N is equal to P is equal to Ni, I can write Ni square as N into P. Both are same. If I want Ni square, I can write as product of N into P. So what was N? I have got Nc. In the previous slide, we have got Nc into e to the power of minus Ec minus Ef by Kt. And P is Nv into e to the power of minus Ef minus Ev by Kt. Next, let me take the product. If I take a product of these two, what happens? Nc, Nv, both the constants together, I will put it in a bracket. Now the exponentials, let's see what happens. There is a minus Ec by Kt, minus Ec by Kt remains as it is. Plus Ef by minus of minus Ef is plus Ef. So plus Ef by Kt and minus Ef by Kt obviously cancels, right? It cancels. And what is the leftover? There is a plus Ev or minus of minus Ev. So it should be minus Ev here. So minus of Ec minus Ev. This is actually suffix. Sorry, I forgot to put it as a suffix. So if you take the product, you will get a term like this. NcNv e to the power of minus Ec minus Ev by Kt. Next, substitute for Nc and Nv. Okay, now one more thing. Ec minus Ev. What is Ec minus Ev? Difference between the topmost level of conduction band and the bottommost level of valence band. Basically, difference between conduction band and valence band. What do you call it? You call it as the band gap energy, that is Eg. So just remember that figure which I showed earlier today. Ec minus Ev will be the band gap energy Eg. So instead of Ec minus Ev, I will write it as Eg. So next expression, Ni. Okay, I made a mistake. This is Ni square. Sorry, this is Ni square. It becomes NcNv e to the power of minus Eg by Kt. Next, substitute for Nc and Nv. You had 2 pi me star Kt by h square raised to 3 by 2, 2 pi mh star Kt by h square raised to 3 by 2. Substitute those and multiply. You will get it like this. 4, 2 into 2, obviously 4. Then all the 3 by 2 people, whom you can combine. If you combine 3 by 2 into 3 by 2, obviously it becomes 3. So 2 pi kt by h square to the power of 3. Then me star and ms star, you cannot do anything, you have to put separate. So me star into ms star to the power of 3 by 2 and e to the power of minus eg by kt. So you are substituting for nc and eb, which you got in the previous. If I want ni, what should I do? I should take a square root of this entire thing. So square root of 4 will be 2, square root of this thing will be to the power of 3 by 2, square root of here will be to the power of 3 by 4, and this will be minus eg by 2 kt. So this is how my final expression for ni looks like. 2 into 2 pi k by h square raised to 3 by 2. me star, ms star raised to the power of 3 by 4, sorry. 3 by 2 to the power of half is 3 by 4. Okay, I had a t inside here. It was t inside. I have moved the t outside deliberately. Okay, I moved the d outside. So this t to the power of 3 by 2. And minus eg by kt, if you take a square root, it becomes minus eg by 2 kt. Now what did we understand from this? Let me just repeat once again whatever we talked. So we are now talking, we got the expression for, in the previous year, you got the expression for N, that is your electron concentration. Next, you got the expression for holes, that's a hole concentration. You have rewritten in another way, Nc to the power of, Nc into exponential minus Ec minus Ef by Kt, and Nb into exponential minus Ef minus Ev by Kt. Right? These two constants you put as Nc and Nb. Now next, what I am saying is, in an intrinsic semiconductors, N is equal to P. The amount of electrons is equal to the amount of holes. So for that reason, I can write N is equal to P is equal to another variable or another symbol Ni, that is the intrinsic carrier concentration. Now, if I do Ni square, I will get N into P. Just do see here, and if I take a product, if N is equal to P, N into P is also Ni square, right? It's like Ni into Ni. Both are same. So I can do N into P. So substitute for N, substitute for P, bring the constants together, Nc and V together. And if you take a product here, the Fermi energy term goes off. Ef by Kt goes off. There is a plus Ef by Kt here and minus Ef by Kt. You take a product, it goes off. And then the leftovers are minus Ec and minus Ev. Now another thing, Ec minus Ev is the band gap energy. That is the band gap energy. Difference between bottom level of conduction band and upper level of valence band. Or another way of saying difference between conduction band and valence band is band gap energy. Eg. Eg is the letter. So I'll replace Ec minus Ev by Eg. So this is Eg. Next, substitute for Nc and Nv. Take a product and write. Whichever are common, you write together. Whichever are not common, you separate out. Okay. This is Ni square. This is Ni square. Here actually there is a square. I missed out the square. If I want Ni, the expression for Ni, I should take a square root of this entire thing. So square root of 4 is 2. 2 pi k by h square to the power of 3. Square root if I take it becomes to the power of 3 by 2. There is a t cube, it becomes t to the power of 3 by 2. Here also there is a 1 by 2. If I bring in, if I take a square root, it becomes 3 by 4. Here it becomes by 2 kt. So this is the final expression for for intrinsic carrier concentration in an intrinsic semiconductor. Intrinsic carrier concentration Ni in an intrinsic semiconductor. What all I understand from this? Here it is. There is no terms on Fermi energy. There is no EF here in this entire expression. That means intrinsic carrier concentration is independent of the Fermi energy level. It's independent of the Fermi energy level. Next, it is proportional to the power to 3 by 2 power of temperature. T to the power of 3 by 2, it is proportional. Another thing, it is dependent on band gap energy. How is it dependent? It is exponential dependence. So these three are very important aspects which you have got from this expression for Ni or the electron concentration. Now let me just stop the sharing. Come back. So